Shalom, family. Shalom. Shalom. Peace and blessings. Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing? Hope y'all doing all right. This class is inspired by my bro, man. He put out a not necessarily a call to action, but just remember, man. I think today a lot of our people waking up on this hell day, they can feel some type of way. We've been in this stuff for a while, so we just want to give out some words of encouragement to keep going, to keep fighting, and like the Bible commands us to do, we got to cast down vain things. This is a vain thing that our people are celebrating today. Vain thing. And we kind of went over it yesterday of how Christmas is an abomination and how it's evil. But we just wanted to bring out some more things. And we have to remember. We have to remember. Just like they remember 9/11, we got to remember that this day for us back in the 1800s, and on 1900s was not a day of joy for us. So we got to remember this day is not of the Lord. So we're going to start in the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8. Let's go there first. Read.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Start right there. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. What does that word spoil mean?
To give things to somebody, like even though there's things that they don't necessarily need you.
Okay. So spoil, you think about milk, right? Spoil goes bad. Don't let anybody corrupt you, basically, through philosophy and vain deceit. Read.
After the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
So it's giving you a clue after some things that they're going to spoil you after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not of Christ. When you think about Christmas, it's a tradition of men, something that was passed down from our enemy, our oppressor, that they forced upon us to worship, right? Which is not of Christ. He didn't give us his day to celebrate. He gave us high holy days. But by celebrating these days, it does what? It spoils us. It makes us good for nothing. It causes us to do what? To break the commandments of God. It causes us to idolize men, right? And like I said, we have to remember where we were when most of this stuff was created. Were we free? Or were we in the slums? Or were we being abused, right? We got to remember that we were the Christmas gifts. So you got all of our people worshiping this day, not understanding that you were the gift at one time. Being separated from your family and things like that, you were the gift. And we're going to kind of get that. Because our oppressors used to celebrate this day and pass us around. They used to do some other things also, which they use for their benefit to destroy us. So I'm going to read, this is just a Wikipedia thing. This class won't be too long. I just want to give us a little kick, okay, keep going, y'all. So we were given as slaves, right? We all know we were slaves, but we were given as gifts. So this is just an AI review. It says Black enslaved people were sometimes treated as property to be given as Christmas gifts. So they used to actually put you under the tree and said, here, Miss Laura, to kids, here's your play toy. We were basically pay toys. It says literally presented to wives of families members as presents, but this was a part of a complex system where Christmas also offered brief respite. So here we go, right? There was a time for us to not work as hard as we used to. What does that do? We're going to get a scripture on that here in a minute, but a brief respite from hard labor. They give you one day. When the Lord gives us 4 days out of a whole month, right? Five actually, because you got the Sabbath days and new moon. They choosing when you can rest. It says chances for community and opportunities for escape, though often overshadowed by the threat of New Year's sale and family separations. Slaveholders used Christmas gifts like clothes, food, and time off to assert dominance, foster gratitude, and prevent rebellion, while enslaved people used the downtime for cultural expression, strengthening bonds, and plotting freedom, highlighting Christmas's dual role as a time of both oppression and subtle resistance. Now, there's a scripture on this that we're going to get, right? But they use Christmas as a tactic, as a tool to destroy our minds, to say, you see, Master loves us. He really loves us on this one time, giving you the things that you're supposed to have, food and clothes and time off and money that they withheld from you that they should have been paying you originally anyway, right? So it's a scripture. Watch this scripture. Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 7. They use Christmas as a way to manipulate us, to get us to feel like they really cared about us, to not have us think about the New Year's sale. Crazy. Read.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyed the heart.
It says, surely this oppression should make us mad. A wise man. A wise man is going to be looking at your condition and be like, why am I in this position? Why am I suffering? Why is my children being given as gifts? Why are we in constant threat of death and things like that? Why are we celebrating these things? That's what we have to come and realize and ask ourselves. But it says a gift destroyed the heart, and we know the heart is the mind. That's what they were doing to these slaves. Good old Master, Master John, he cared about us. No, he was destroying your mind. I think that you care about him, so you can continue to work, continue to do those things. So in Colossians 7, 2 and 8, it mentions something about traditions of men. And it's all types of tradition behind this. They got many different avenues. My brother called it Xmas, right? And that's the real world word that we should use, because it got all types of different traditions in the midst of it. And one in particular, right, back in when was it, 1800s or so, in Holland, they celebrate in a different way. But it's something behind it that we got to realize. Now, it's been passed down over here in America as something totally different, but it's the same almost. So we're going to watch this video. It's about 3 minutes long, and we're going to highlight some things in the video to show you just the traditions of men that we shouldn't be worshiping, right? So about 3 minutes long, so bear with me, y'all. So I want y'all to peep something right here, right? Santa Claus, which is how they mention Santa Claus. Santa Claus is centered around a saint, so-called saint, right? We know who the saints are. The saints is Israel, but this is Pope Nicholas. What Pope Nicholas is known for is what? He's the one that authorized slavery, the transatlantic slavery. So when we see the next character right here, Swarte Pete, this is his servant. What these people are doing, they're playing in our face. They letting us know that, hey, we are on top. But this is a tradition that our people follow. It should make us mad to know that we are constantly being shown that we are nothing. But our people will run along and celebrate this very tradition of men that they created, right? To demonize us. So we're going to play on a little bit. Now, if you look at these people, right, they resemble what they used to do in the Jim Crow era, Sambo, right? They would exaggerate their appearances to make fun of us. It's the same thing to keep us to make it seem like we are lesser than, right? That's all they're doing. But that's enough of that. I just wanted to give that out a little bit. That's a little other tradition that they do. But behind it is something more sinister. Now, Black Pete, right? If you look at that history, he resembles the Moors of that time. And if you guys don't know, Moors, we used to run Europe. And as we know, the Dark Ages, right? That was when we had rulership of that whole time. And these Caucasian people, we ruled over them. So they called it was another documentary where they say Black Pete was first good, and then he became first bad, then he became good. Well, they were bad when we used to rule them, right? They became good when they conquered us again and gave us Christianity. So that's the whole symbolism behind that. So it's sinister behind it, right? It's nothing good about it. So the Lord wants us to understand that and come back to his ways, right? So we got to look at ourselves and deny the things that will destroy us. This tradition of men that they celebrate will destroy us. And even though it's celebrated like it's fact, because we went over a little bit yesterday about exactly what Christmas was and what's behind it, and it has nothing to do with Christ. It has all to do with idolatry and abomination and wickedness. But like today, we're off. If we was to go to try to get the Sabbath day off and any of our holidays off, they give us a hard time. But today, they shut things down because it is hell day, right? But let's see why that is. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verse 16. Like I said, this won't be too long. I just wanted us to have a little pep in ourselves today to understand that we got to keep the commandments and deny this ungodliness. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verse 16. Read.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 16. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law.
Start right there. So it says, in a process of time. So over time, an ungodly custom. What will make this ungodly? The Lord didn't give it to us. It's idolatry. It's wickedness. An ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law. Right now, they shut everything down. Banks are closed. It's law, right? It's seared in our mind that it's something that we have to celebrate. God didn't give it. It's ungodly. Read.
Engraven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
And that's all you see. It's a graven image. Saint Nick is a graven image. He was a real man at one time, but now they got Santa Claus. It's worship. They said, now the Christianity would say it's about Christ. It has nothing to do with Christ. It's an ungodly custom that has a stronghold on our people. And the Bible commands us to cast down those strongholds. We're going to get that in a minute. But first, let's go to Proverbs 3 and verse 31. We all know these scriptures. We all know this. We've been in this truth a while. We know that we can't do this right here. Proverbs 3 and verse 31.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
It says envy. What does it mean to envy something? Look up that word, envy. Envy. Read it. Hold on. Read it.
A feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, quality, or luck.
Read.
Desire to have a quality, possession, or other desirable attribute belonging to someone else.
So we desire the possessions of the other nations, which is what? Their customs, the things that they celebrate, their God, which the Lord calls nothing, right? The gods of the world, of the world is nothing. They're nothing. They're vain. They're going to be destroyed. They are no gods. We worship the creator of the world. That's the one true God, right? So it says, Proverbs 3 verse 31 again.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
None of his ways. If you do, you're gonna be destroyed right along with it. So again, we're gonna do what 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 3 says. We're gonna cast down, meaning destroy these vain thoughts, these vain things that they believe, these vain customs that they have. 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 3.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds.
So we all know we're in this flesh, right, for a time being, but we don't walk after the flesh. What does that mean? We don't sin. We don't walk in the midst of sin because we have the commandments. We have the light. We don't struggle with the things that the world struggles with because we know the truth. The things of the flesh, we don't walk after. We don't celebrate these hell days because we know they're nothing. But it says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. And when you look at all these hell days, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays, there's strongholds on our people that they will not release. They got to do it. Why? Because it's an ungodly custom passed down from our forefathers that was given by our oppressors as from their traditions, because they have no God. So they got to make up traditions. When you really look back at all these different things, a man had to sit down and say, I'm going to do this. They dreamed up things to do just to have. And the Bible speaks against that. Dreams, vain imagination of men is not of God. Watch this. Go to Sirach 34 and verse 2. The original person had to sit down, dream up or concoct these dang traditions, these dang holidays that are vain, that we know are vain. Sirach 34 and verse 2, read.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 34, and verse 2.
Yeah, read. I'm sorry. Before we get there, I didn't finish that off. Before we go there, go back to 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 4, because I didn't get the point. We read pulling down the strongholds, but verse 5 was a point. My bad. 2 Corinthians 2:10 and verse 5. We got to read that before we go to the dreams.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
Because our thoughts will wander off to be like, yeah, that has something to do with Christ. It has Christ in the name. It's his birthday. We got to honor him on this day. When we know that Christ was not even born during the winter. He was born during Passover, during the spring. So it says casting down imaginations. Dreams is another word we can think about. Something that's not real, a thought that comes and goes. And every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God. And bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. They have exalted this tradition over God. When you put the laws of man above God, and everything that they worship above God is idolatry. All these vain thoughts, vain imaginations, we got to cast down. So now let's go to Sirach 34 and verse 2.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 34, verse 2. Whoso regardeth the dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow and followeth after the wind.
Start right there. Regarding dreams. We have dreams all the time. They don't mean anything. And the Lord does deal with certain people in dreams, in the books, right? But all the things that he dealt with was according to the law. It's going to say that at the end of this run that we go through. But it's like a what? Read that again.
Whoso regardeth the dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow and followeth after the wind.
Who can catch a shadow? I know my 9-year-old little Noah, he used to run after his shadow. He used to race it. You ain't gonna catch that shadow. It's nothing. Like the wind, right? Read.
The vision of dreams is a resemblance of one thing to another, even as the likeness of a face to a face.
Right. So you don't know what it is. Read.
Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed? And from that thing which is false, what truth can come?
You see that? It says, of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed? Can this tradition of men of Christmas be cleansed? It's unclean. It can't be cleansed. We read a little bit of that yesterday. And from that thing which is false, what truth can come from it? Again, you ask a Christian, why do you celebrate Christmas? It's for the kids, or celebrating Christ. Christ told us not to worship his birthday. It's unclean. There's no truth in it. It's a lie. Read.
Divinations and soothsayings and dreams are vain, and the heart fancieth as a woman's heart in travail.
So divinations, right? Dreams, they're vain. This celebration, this tradition is vain. Read.
If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them.
You see that? The Lord didn't give us this tradition to celebrate. It's not of the Most High. Do not regard it. We got to cast it down. It means nothing. It means destruction to our people. It's oppression. They want us to remember this, but they don't want us to remember our Holocaust, our torture. Oh, y'all need to get over that. Read.
For dreams have deceived many, and they have failed that put their trust in them.
Read.
The law shall be found perfect without lies, and wisdom is perfection to a faithful mouth.
I love that last verse right there. Because if we trust in his law, we won't be deceived by this. Why is it going to be found without lies? We know this is a lie. We know it's a lie. So why worship it? When we're going to stop allowing ourselves to be deceived? When we're going to allow ourselves to actually bask in his truth and do the things that he wants us to do, right? So as we go throughout the day today, and I know a lot of us, brought up in this so-called wicked tradition, we got to fight, man. And we got to prepare our little ones to fight also. To know that, yeah, we're going through this right now, but he got us. And don't let those spirits get on you today. Because I know you can go into some of these stores and hear that music, and it brings back up that thought. You got to fight it. But I'm going to end it right here, right? Like I said, it wasn't going to be too long, but this is what we have to do. We got to cast up vain imaginations down and rise up and speak truth to our people and to the world. Because what we're doing right now, we're giving reverence to a God that's not a God. We're giving reverence to the created and not to the creator. He gave us days to worship. He gave us feast days. So I'm going to end it here. Psalms 94 and verse 16.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
Who's going to rise up? Is it going to be you? As for me and my household, we're going to serve the Lord. And we're going to do what thus said the Lord. And we ain't going to worship these hell days. And I hope that as we go on, we've got one more coming up, that y'all stay strong. Y'all rely on the Lord and trust in his word and understand it ain't going to be too long. And he's going to come back and he's going to deliver us out of this hellhole and stop being vexed. So with that, I say shalom, peace, and blessings, family. Keep fighting.
Shalom, peace, and blessings.